Welcome back. This is Jason Wilcox, Cannabis in Canada. Yet another show. I know we've been off the air and just kind of throwing up these movies kind of randomly. Today we're here with one of our new members, Mike, who's going to be signing up for his federal exemption today. His doctor's going to sign, and we're just kind of going over what's needed and what's not needed when you're applying for the federal program. What's imperative for people to understand is some of the stuff that we're going to touch on, and really that can be the difference between having your stuff sent back or not. Cross your T's, dot your I's. The government just sends it back every time if you don't. No room for games. We'll go through it right from the beginning. So when you got your page, you got a 32-page application. This is what you'll send you in the mail. So basically with Mike, he's going for his application to possess marijuana, which is Form A. So he's going to need his Form A, not for his doctor, just for himself. Now Form B1, chronic pain, if you've had a car accident, if you have arthritis, it is not for Health Canada to tell you you are not in pain, or it's basically what I'm coming down to is it's a doctor-patient relationship. It's between you and your doctor as to what happens, not up to Health Canada to dictate to you what can happen around your medication. And with the B2 form, basically cannabis. Just like Mike can be prescribed cannabis for his ailments that he's seeking. And of course he's a lot more qualified. However, it still falls under a B2 category. And with the doctor's support, this is the other thing for, I can't express this enough for the viewers who feel the federal program is not going to protect them. There's Bill C-15 on the horizon. This will protect you. And sometimes going through this monotonous crap is kind of worth it, because a lot of people don't realize that you're qualified. You could be in a car accident and have a back injury, and there's not a single doctor in the world that can tell you that that injury doesn't hurt, okay? Because no doctor can diagnose that injury. These are little things that people don't understand. There's ways in and out of the federal system. These licenses should be available for everybody, because it's a matter of a right to autonomy and not a right to a set of regulations that are arbitrary and bullshit. So anyway, that may not be the best way to talk about the professionalism of the Medical Marijuana Access Division, but I'm sorry, they only got 4,000 people licensed since 2001, and about 40 million probably we're up to now of taxpayers' dollars. So you know, if the taxpayers are happy about that, great. But anyway, that's my little rant around B2. That's the main difference. It's just some people have different, like, grand mal seizures. And they don't realize that MS and grand mal seizures aren't a lot different. It's a matter of seizures, period, and whether there's an anticonvulsant factor. That in itself can get you a B2. You know, you may not fall under MS, but you'll fall under grand mal seizures under B2, because it does stay off seizures. Little things like this, inflammation of joints, the list goes on. Anyway, we continue on. Now what Mike's going to be going for is known as a Form C, which is a license to produce for himself. Okay, at a place of his choosing. He does not need to disclose to the landlord if it's at his primary place of residence. Okay, if you choose to grow at another location, you need the landlord's consent to grow at that second location. And there's definitely a consent form that that's in here for the landlord. This would be as if you were designating out to another person. And I've kind of already went through this with Mike, so if you're wondering why I'm not really engaging Mike in this, it's because we kind of went through it, and I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes. The Form D part is if you're going to have somebody else grow for you, which is just one more option. You know, you have that option to have somebody grow for you. Buyer beware on that issue. Get to know who you're dealing with. But anyway, there is the option to designate out. He doesn't need this either. So again, separating your paperwork, it breaks that 32-page application, and we squish it down to what's actually applicable for what you want to mail into Health Canada. There's stuff that just simply doesn't apply. Now, if Mike wishes to order the government the government cannabis, they can go ahead and Mike can choose to fill this out to obtain dried marijuana from the federal government, and they'd be happy to mail him 300 grams and then charge him $150 an ounce, going street rate, okay, for him to go ahead and buy their can of crap that's been basically radiated for purity, to fall in line with the Food and Drug Administration guidelines, which is why they do that. If anybody wonders why Health Canada weed really sucks, it's simply because they're following what the FDA is making them do. And that's what scares me about the future of the Medical Marijuana Access Division, is what else do they have planned? Especially now with the new change, that it's not even called the Medical Marijuana Access Division anymore, it's the Office of Tobacco and blah blah blah. Somehow they associated cannabis and tobacco together again, even though we've spent years distinguishing the fact that cannabis doesn't cause cancer, cigarettes do. Chemical differentials. So we set this form aside, E1, which is again the application to obtain dried marijuana. Mike may or may not want to do that. That'll be a choice for him to make. And then there's the Health Canada would love to sell you their seeds. One thing I will say about this is I know a couple of growers who have grown the Health Canada seeds. One grower liked it, another grower didn't. It could be simply because one grower knew what they were doing and the other didn't. I mean, that's how simple it is. It's, again, buyer beware. I personally would suggest going to a seed bank. There is nothing in the medical marijuana access regulations that stipulate where you need to get your genetics. You can get your genetics from wherever you want, so that you can grow what's applicable for you and what helps you treat your ailments. And that's another thing that's important to understand, that you don't have to order these seeds. They love to send you the forms and make it seem like you almost have to order from them. You don't have to order nothing from them. In fact, if anybody really wants to look into it, check the government statistics, because you'll see that there's well under, it's under 100, I'm just going off the top of my head here, but I definitely know it's under 100 that have ordered for more than 4 months since 2001, or well, since 2004 when Prairie Plant Systems Incorporated started selling medical marijuana, as they call it, to medical patients here in Canada at $150 an ounce once again, plus applicable taxes. So anyway, I've been in the Globe and Mail years ago talking about that. Form F is the last form, and now this would be applicable to Mike if Mike wants to grow anywhere, once again, other than his primary place of residence. So say Mike wanted to grow here, like Mike doesn't live too far away. Let's just say hypothetically he wanted to grow here. Then he would need my landlord to sign this form to make it legal for him to grow here. Okay, and that would be it. That's what growing off-site. But if it's your home, your primary place where you live, well then you don't have to disclose to the landlord. It's your personal private healthcare business, and you're not obligated by any regulation or law to inform your landlord of what you're doing. But I do caution with safety and common sense in that respect as well. And this was just an insight. I'm not sure where we're at for time, but I know that I'm probably approaching that 10-minute mark. My camera lady's telling me I'm at about 8 minutes here. So Mike here has been also working with our tech crew. He's going to be doing some work with our website, as I understand it. And basically that's it for the federal program. When you sign up, the hardest part is getting through the arbitrary 32-page application. Once this is done, there's a short form renewal. In that short form, which is a Form R, you can actually send this in, I believe it's Form R. Again, don't have one in front of me here. But that's an important one, because it makes it so much easier. You just get your doctor to fill out. As long as nothing's changed. If you haven't moved, you haven't went anywhere, it's all good. This is your final trump card here in Canada. Now, what happened in 2004, since I got a minute or so to talk about this, 1 minute. In 2004, the CNPA sent out to all 60,000 doctors in Canada, which is the Canadian Medical Protective Association, a letter stating they should not sign the federal forms. 3 years later, they allowed this form as a result of a case called HITSIG, okay, which in 2004 decided that they had to do something about this. So they came out with what's known as the Canadian Medical Protective Association waiver form. The doctor signs it, the patient signs it, clears the doctor of all liability for cannabis. If the doctor refuses to sign this form, at that point I'd have to question the doctor's motives and why he would be stepping then on the patient's Section 7 right to autonomy. This is Jason Wilcox signing out, and we'll see you in the next movie. Cheers.